We live? I think we're live. I guess I'll find out. Anybody watching, feel free to send a comment and let me know. It's been a while. In fact, it's been close to 2 months since I've talked to anybody. And why is that? No reason. Everything's fine. I haven't been run over or put in the hospital or anything like that. I guess I haven't had a whole lot to say, and I've been busy in other respects. I've already gone into that, so I'll leave that where it is. By the way, I don't know if anybody's had this Sapporo free advertising. And like clockwork, there's the OG. All right, buddy, how you been? Sapporo? Well, typically I'd have Guinness, but I had Thai food, and Guinness doesn't maybe go so well with Thai food, at least in my opinion. I guess neither does Japanese beer, but it goes better than Guinness. Couldn't find any Thai beer, so last of the Sapporo, and then tonight we'll continue on with the Guinness. I got some running around I have to do. Yeah, so that. But what else has been going on? Let's see, hockey season about to start in a little over a week. I mean, my God, it seems like it just ended. How does time fly, right? I mean, it's amazing. The summer is just that fast, and that's fine with me. I'm not the biggest fan of summer. It doesn't really mean anything to me. I don't get any like major vacation time or off time because it's summer. All I get is heat and sweat and misery, especially down here. So I'm happy to see summer on the tail end. Ready for fall. We don't have much of a fall here in New Orleans, but we do get a little bit. So definitely ready for that. I did get charged wargaming wise. Let's just segue right into that. I did get charged for tank dual enemy in the crosshairs, which means that should ship according to them, them being GMT. That should ship on I think the 25th, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be here plus or minus a couple of weeks. Once that gets here, I'll definitely have, as I'm sure will 5,000 other people, and that's great because this game deserves a lot of attention. An unboxing for that, so look for that. Oof. Not the best, but it'll do. Dan Pancaldi, sorry buddy, I know you've tried to get a hold of me. I don't know what to say. I don't know what's wrong with me. But I'll try and be better. I still need to hear about how the convention went and all that stuff. Let's see, what else? So yeah, not a whole lot going on. I think I went home to St. Louis. At least, yeah, I did go home to St. Louis for a few days. And that was really it. The extent of my summer has consisted of more socializing, a little less gaming. As far as designing goes, I've fiddled with a few things. The most recent being, I've always been fascinated by a particular aspect of Waterloo. I know Waterloo is way overdone. It's the Battle of the Bulge of the Musket era. There is no shortage of Waterloo games. But I thought about it, and I don't know of any strictly La Haye Saint games, the battle for the little farmhouse that was pretty much smack dab in the middle of the French advance, not the Huguenot farm, the La Haye Saint farm. A battle that specifically deals just with that. I thought that would be kind of fun to do. So I've been battering around ideas, doing some research. I've printed up some interesting maps that could be used for that. Let me grab one real quick. The immediate problem, at least for me, and as I want to do with the art thing, of course I had to come up with a mock cover for what will probably never be. You recognize the font? It's the same font as the Misfits use in their stuff. So that would be that. And I don't know who the artist is. I don't have the artist's permission. So there's that. It's a map I found of the Hyacinthe that lends itself to functionality and aesthetics wise. It's not bad either. That's about the best thing I've found. And that, of course, would be easily upgraded to something to game on. So I've been having fun dealing with that. Will anything ever become of that? I don't know. It may or may not. This remains to be seen. The whole H&S Games thing is kind of dead in the water right now. In fact, it's very dead in the water right now, and maybe someday I'll go into that, but there's a couple of specific reasons for that. I don't want to get into that right now. Other things going on, I guess I've got sucked into a damn miniatures hole here. Let me grab some of that stuff and show you. Still in a Napoleonics groove here. Probably one of the longest Napoleonics grooves I've been in. The pendulum for me usually swings back and forth between World War II tactical Napoleonics, but still heavy, probably up to the knees in Napoleonic stuff. Got these LaSalle rules. In fact, I got a number of PDFs that I've picked up and printed off. These LaSalle rules I'm going to try and get into. That looks interesting. Of course, by the same gentleman, Blucher, which a lot of people have had many good things to say about. I find myself these days skimming through Napoleonics rules, and for whatever reason, that seems to itch my scratch. Now this I've had for a while, but I want to revisit this because there's some things in here that are pretty clever in my opinion. Drums and shakos. There's drums and shakos, and then this one, large battles, drums and shakos. This one I know nothing about, March Attack, so I'm going to see what that's about. And I've got these as PDFs. I have a boatload more of PDFs, but there's only a number of them that are, in my opinion, worth the effort of printing out and actually learning, which is what I have done here. A couple more. We've got another one I've had for a bit, General Desarmés. And then finally, the original black powder rules. There's a new version out, and it looks damn fine, by the way. So I may try and get a hold of that, the actual hardback book copy of it. That's how nice it looks. Black powder, I don't have a problem with it. I'm still learning it. I have heard other people bash it. I've heard people praise it. Specifically, the dudes on Little Wars TV have reviewed it, and they've gone so far as to say it's really nothing more than rolling dice and pushing around miniatures. The historical flavor is basically absent from that. I don't know if I wholly agree with that, and that's fine. They're entitled to their opinions, and so am I. It's the United States. You can believe what you want, right? Hey. So, one of the main reasons I disagree with the lack of historical flavor, it could be argued that there is, in fact, a historical lack in the core rules, but there are supplements, and there's another problem. Well, why should I have to buy a supplement to gain any historical, substance? I get that, but nevertheless, there are supplements that are available which provide historical flavor. 2 of them for Napoleonics. So, what else? What was something else I was going to say about? Oh, how you have to question, and also like at this point, many people question the amount of periods that are covered within those black powder rules, and there are enough periods in there that there's the differentiation between them perhaps demands more specific attention and rules for those periods rather than a generic singular homogeneous rule book for everything. But for other people that is in fact the appeal, and I get that as well. So again, knee deep in Napoleonic stuff. I had a hiccup with some World War I stuff, but then scared myself and made them go away. So that was interesting. I've also found myself exploring smaller scale stuff, which means bigger battles now. I've gone on record as saying I really only prefer tactical stuff. It seems more intimate, blah, blah, blah. I still feel the same. But it's safe to say I'm gaining maybe a little more appreciation for the scoped out strategic stuff. For me, I'm finding it more fun than I did at one time. So, what do I got on the table? I don't know if this is going to be anything too impressive. Where do I put this? If you hear a bottle get kicked over later, that's me kicking over the beer I just set on the floor. So again, I don't know how impressive this is going to be, if at all, but if I can bring it down, we can take a look at this. So we've got here, here's from my typical point of view when I play, and I apologize for whatever glare is assuredly presenting itself. Looks like something's coming through the window, but you get the gist of it. And this is a map that has been constructed by yours truly. What I've done is, and I'll pull you back here in a second. What I've done is piecemealed this thing together with 8.5 by 11 blown up sheets from some stuff I found on the internet. And I've done this before, but I did this with hexagons, and you guys may have seen this in the past. Worked out well. This time I went without hexagons because I kind of like not knowing immediately ahead of time distances, ranges, etc. It adds a little more, just a little fog of war. I mean, yeah, you're still going to measure with the sticks, but you don't know everything with such an immediacy using these as you hexes. So you feel a little more on the ground, as it were. So what I've done is, again, I printed off, and I'm not going to show you the sheets, but 8.5 by 11 sheet, which would be like a typical field. And I've got about just under 30 of these pieced together. That forms the base. The wheat field that you saw consists of two 8.5 by 11 sheets. The roads, literally, are these blown up printouts that I've cut and carefully placed on here. Nothing is glued together. It's all just placed and then plexiglass on top. So at some point this will come off the table and it will have to be taken apart, and that'll be sad, but that's how it goes. And in the river, I've taken this and I cut that out and then place it directly on the table here that I've got going. Same with the woods. Maybe you have something like this that is placed. The only problem I have currently, and it's only because I'm so picky and discriminating, is hills. I have not figured out a way. Oh, I've also got some orchards up here. I haven't figured out a way, I came close, but a way to present hills that works in my mind. You know, it has to look a certain way or I don't like it. I've got those little black foam boards that I've cut and printed and put stuff on. And that could potentially work. What I think needs to happen is I need to have at least a third of this table, this map, covered with a second level instead of a little bits and pieces of hills here and there. Perhaps that would look better. And then, oh, I apologize to the one guy who said, please stop playing music in the background, it's distracting. I'm sorry, but there's music in the background again, and I apologize for that, sir. These houses here are from a Monopoly set. I painted these gray and brown for stone and wood. That is really the only three-dimensional feature I have on this table. There's no little miniature trees or shrubs or anything like that. So it's fairly clean, I guess, is what I'm going for, and I think I've achieved that. The pieces that I'm using, and you may be asking yourself, what the hell's going on? You've got tons and tons of these Napoleonic miniatures, and in fact I do. I've got these guys that I've shown you before from Risk Sets, and I have been using these on this table until one day. This is how simple of a creature I am. One day a young lady came over and said, wow, those look like pretty big guys for the houses on the table. How do they get in there? I was like, you know, it's abstracted, blah, 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 you wouldn't know. But that sunk in, and I thought, you know, the more I think about it, yeah, the scale isn't right for the size of the roads and everything. It's just, not only that, the amount of soldiers that are required to play in many of these scenarios is such that the table does get somewhat crowded. So what I've done is, as you can see, taken these little guys here, and they're tiny. Here's a bottle cap, right? And there's the guy inside the bottle cap. So these things are tiny. So these one of these now represents one of these stands. So that's what I'm using, and scale-wise, I think I've nailed it, but then I've compromised the cool little minis, but they will be used in the future for other projects, other things. What has worked out great. The scale, I pretty much nailed that. I've got the map. It took a long time to do this map, and I finally got the map the way I like it. Obviously, I'm very particular about that as well. And I've played 6 turns of an 8-turn round scenario. What rules, you ask, am I using? And here again, I have to embarrassingly say none of the rules that I showed you. What I'm using is my go-to rules that I always return to, the old Battles of Napoleon rules that are simple, quick play rules. But I know them and they work, so until I learn a few of these others, that's what I'm going to continue to use. So what else? And you know, I've tweaked some of my own things here and there. The initiative system is straight shit draw, so a particular unit that activates it's going to be random, and it could bounce back and forth between sides, or one side could, an entire side could activate before another side does. And then it's broken down by a single turn. Really feels like 2 turns, because the first part of the turn consists of formation change, changing orders, movement, firing. Then there's a second round that consists primarily of cavalry charges, melee. So a turn kind of feels like 2 turns, even though it's not. But again, it's worked out great, and the system is, in my opinion, one of the best systems when it comes to fast, light Napoleonic rules. So that's where we're at with that. I don't really have anything else to share with you guys. This is primarily, I'm still alive, still kicking the video, and probably next time you'll see me, unless something amazing happens, will be for that unboxing with the tank duel. So hope you guys have been well, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.